Welcome back to What Are Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the M54 Renegade. It's a Tier 8 American premium heavy tank. It's located on the north spawn of Cliff, and this one is under the command of Citron01. Now he's armed with a 105mm gun, which is capable of doing 360 alpha, and has got a standard reload time of 9.78 seconds. And well, you can see that Citron01's got it down to 8.24, which is very, very good. This is a tier 8 game. He's top tier, so he's expected to carry a lot of the load. And as you know, Citron01 is a particularly good player, so I wouldn't be surprised if he actually does pull off a pretty good game. Now, this was one tank that you can actually get during a mini marathon. Wargaming's had quite a few tanks that are actually offered as part of a mini marathon, and this is one of the better ones. I suppose you could say the best one of all was the Barask, followed by maybe the Skoda T56, and then of course I would put the M54 Renegade in there as well. It's kind of slow, 45 kilometers an hour maximum speed. It was supposed to be a replacement for the M48 pattern, but they only built one prototype and they discontinued it in favour of the T95 instead. There doesn't appear to be much support for that batch at 12 ton, and if the Lurva is the support, then he's a bit late, and there he is, one in through the hole for 350, so that's a low roll by 10 hit points. And that reload's really going to help him here. Low roll again, 296. Oh, now a Borsig managed to get a shot on him, but didn't pen. But the Tiger 2 is going to take him round, and he gets 350 again, a low roll. Now we have to watch out for that Borsig. Yeah, he's trying to get us, and I think it may be the Patriot and the batch at 12 ton who are actually working out where we are. And look at that, the Arty's trying to get us now as well. It's an M40, M43, but they've only got one. So that means we do get a respite for a few minutes, or a few seconds. One round into the Patriot for 315. Remember, he's only got a 90mm gun. And tried to get the batch at 12 ton there, but didn't get it. Yes, surprisingly, this tank does have a lot of pulls medals scored in this vehicle. The highest number of pulls medals goes to the Barask. It really is quite, well, tenacious, you could say. It generates a lot of pulls medals. The second highest is the Progetto, of course, that 90mm gun and the auto reloader. And he's just killed his first tank. This time it was the Patriot. Now he's got a T-34 to deal with this time. That guy's got a 120mm gun. The Patriot only had a 90mm, so he needs to be careful because that guy's got a 400 alpha. And that's why he pulled back, and unfortunately the Lurva didn't, and he made a big mistake, and he's now out of the game. T-34 is pulling forward. Now that's why he's looking back as he's charging south, or charging west I should say. He wants to get down to this corner of the map, because from here you can actually put pressure on the enemy. And oh, he's found the super Pershing. Bounces one round. Tried to settle it there. I think that may have hit the front plate on the super Pershing, which, as you know, has got reinforced armor on his front, which makes it difficult to pen. In fact, you can see that Citron01 has loaded nothing but premium ammo to try and get the extra penetration. Oh, brilliant shot on the T-34. Bit of a snap. It worked, and he got the kill. And that Batchat's now worried, and he gets the kill on him as well. So that's 3 kills now. Okay, 122 TM, the Chinese premium tank. And he puts one into him, and a 442 is a high roll. Now, the enemy team's got to be worried now. They're down by 6. He tries to get the rear, but it ricocheted off because he pulled forward just in time to allow the shell to hit the rear of the vehicle at the wrong angle. Now, there must be somebody up in the sniper's nest over there. So I think he's a bit cautious about that. And he's found the enemy Arty as well. And can he get a shot to this guy? No, because he's killed out. And there's the Borsig. He wants that guy. Yep, gets a nice hit for 414. He's loading the HE to get maximum effect. He can kill the Borsig with the next shot. And he does. That's 4 kills. He's having a really good game. He's enjoying himself. Okay, just poking over the side, pushing. And he gets the kill, even though he fired, I think it was an HE round he fired there. But he's going back to the premium rounds. He's got to deal with some other tanks now. They've got heavier armor. In fact, the Pershing had heavy armor, but of course, ouch, that was a Scorpion, and he hit us in the tracks. Yeah, we've got to, in fact, he reloaded the HE for that one, because he knew that the Scorpion doesn't have much in the way of armor. We get hit in the tracks again, and that Scorpion's not having much luck, and he just gets wiped out by the FB207 on our team, who fires an Arty round in and claims the kill. And that's it, game over! And that's a happy Citron. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Citron01 in the M54 Renegade. Not only a first ace tanker game, not first ace tanker, but it is an ace tanker. He also got his 3rd mark of excellence. Yes, that's the game that he won it. I think that's why he was so happy, because of course he recognized he'd done enough damage in that game to master it and get the 3rd mark. Very well played indeed, as well as a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He actually ended up with 5, 1/3 of the enemy team, and 1 short of getting a top gun, as well as a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points of his own vehicle, bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 6. And he got the high caliber as well for dealing the most damage in that game. And look at that win rate, 9,003, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. So let's have a look at team score and see where he was. 4,439 hit points. You can see why he's really good and why he's got the 3rd mark of excellence. When you do that sort of damage, the 2nd highest scorer was the Panther 2 on his team with 3,279, and after that the ISU 152 managed 3,253. So they had 3 good players on the team, but you can see from the number of kills that yes, Citron01 was way out ahead of the other guys, because he got 5 kills, 1/3 of the enemy team. 2 kills went to the Panther 2, the ISU 152, and the FB207. Mustn't forget him. He got that nice little kill on the Panther to kill him, get him out of the way. Panther, the Scorpion rather, to take him out of the equation, because of course he kept hiding behind that rock. And when it came to base XP, yes, he's got that one too. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,567 went to Citron01. 1,175 went to the ISU 152 and 1,152 went to the Panther 2. So the top players were the only ones to get over 1,000 base. But Citron01 maxed out and he went well above the other 2. So let's have a look at detail. 17 shots fired, 15 direct hits and 13 penetrations, 1 splash. Yes, he was using HE some of that time as well, but he was trying to get his 3rd mark. That's why he was actually using the premium ammo, because of course if you want to get premium ammo, if you want to get the 3rd mark, you have to maximize the damage in each game, and the only way you can ensure that you can do that is with premium ammo, to absolutely make sure that every shot counts, even if it's a snapshot. And it did work, because he took out that T-34 with a snapshot. 4,439 hit points of damage, of which 1,254 were at more than 300 meters, so a fair amount of damage was done at close range. He did receive 5 hits, but none of them penetrated, so he was very lucky on that sense. The Scorpion hit him twice in the tracks, would you believe it? Yeah, that guy must be kicking himself, because he could have taken most of the hit points away from Citron01's M54 if he'd done that, but he just couldn't get through the Renegade's tracks. 1 hit received by way of splash damage as well. That was the Arty trying to get at him. 1,230 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 3 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 killed, 1,911 hit points to spotting assist. Yes, he was so far forward, he was allowing the Arty to get excellent shots right into the rear of the enemy and spotting key tanks and key vehicles in the process. 139,967 credits from the battle, and even though he fired a fair amount of premium ammo in that game, he still came out on top with 59,432 credits. In fact, He made so much damage in the game, so many credits, that he could have come out on top even if he'd done a free-to-play account. And that just shows you how effective he was in that game, because he was earning credits not just from his shots, but from other people's shots. He was getting the assistance for them, the spotting. 2,350 experience points, 235 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 2,585 experience points altogether. But the best thing he took away was the 3rd mark of excellence on the barrel of his main gun, and I'm sure he'd be very happy about that indeed. Let's have a look at the armor on this vehicle. It's a particularly strong vehicle on the armor on the turret, that is, on this vehicle. The hull is not so strong, I'm afraid. Lower plate, you're looking at 110, but with that eggshell shape actually does improve and make it easier for you to bounce a shell. In fact, that's what the Americans were aiming at when they were making those egg-shaped hulls. They were trying to increase the amount of rounded armor that was enabling the shells to ricochet off if they hit at the wrong angle. And it did tend to work in a sense, because of course they put that sort of armor on the M103 and quite a few other tanks. Anyway, you can see there's a section of armor here which is 152.4, but it's kind of flat, but it still comes out pretty good, because you can see it's kind of angled anyway. The weak spot, of course, is the driver's ports. You've got 3 viewports right at the top here for the driver. He's sitting right in the center there, and you can see that little spot there where the ports are only 101, but if we pop up there, 101, 214 effective, so difficult to get the driver on that particular spot. More than likely going to get a ricochet. The armor at the front though is very, very strong here. Look at that, goes up as high as 250 impacted, but 255 with the rounding. So the armor on the front of this tank is incredibly strong. The weak spot is of course the cupola. Any American tank which has got a cupola like that, a huge one for the tank commander, and of course that makes it a weak spot, and it's only effectively 170 millimeters or thereabouts, 110 you can see there, so it's fairly weak. If we move to the sides, we can see that we've got 76.2 millimeters actually on the sides of the vehicle. Go to the back, it's only 50 millimeters back here, so they've reduced the armor halfway down the tank to get less. And at the rear of the tank we've only got 38.1. The engine deck's 25.4, so an Arty cam pen on the rear of the vehicle. Rear of the turret 40 millimeters. Rear of the cupola is only 40 millimeters as well. So weakish armor at the back. If we go to the live model, because I know some people like to see that rather than the actual collision damage one, you can see that here's a massive weak spot, there's a massive weak spot, but don't aim for the turret because you're more than likely not going to get through that. It's just too strong, and so it's not worth trying. Much better to try in the hull. But the problem is that this tank's got 10 degrees of gun depression, so if he's gone hull down, you're not going to see the hull at all. All you're going to see is the top of this the turret and of course the cupola. So that is what you aim for if you're trying to take this tank down and he's on a ridgeline. Let's have a look at the modules, and there aren't any. Yeah, I'm afraid Wargaming's never shared the module information for this tank, but I think we can guess where people are from the information that we can see straight off. We know there's 3 ports here. The driver must be in the center of the tank here in the hull, so we know that one. We know the tank commander will be using the cupola, and so he is there. We can see a viewport here, and that I believe is the gunner's view sight, so that means that the gunner is just in front of the tank commander, and we know that there's a loader, and the loader's probably on the right hand side of this tank. We see a bustle. Yeah, this isn't an auto loader, but a 105mm gun, so it's more than likely going to have some ammunition stored in the rear area of the bustle, so that's another weak spot to go for. We can tell that it's probably got the engine and the fuel tanks in the rear, and that's about all we can tell, I'm afraid. We don't know the position of any of the other ammo racks in the vehicle, so we can't tell you specifically which area to aim for. All we can tell you is that you will take out the tank commander if you can put him around through that cupola, and that will reduce his view range and also make it difficult for him to spot any of your tanks. And if you put the shell in, well, you're not really likely to get the shell in from the front on the gunner, or even for the driver for that matter. although I suppose if you use heat rounds you can get through the armor at the front. The best thing to do is to aim for the bustle and see if you can get an ammo rack out of that. So that's where we think the modules are on the M54 Renegade. So congratulations to Citron01 for getting yet another third mark of excellence on one of his tanks. This is a particularly good one. The M54 Renegade is a popular tank. As I was saying during the filming, of the tanks that do have a lot of pools medals, this is one of them. This is one of the ones that you need to aim for if you want to get pools medals. I'd say the Barask or the Progetto 46 or the Skoda T56 or the M54 Renegade. They all seem to have the power to do what Citron01 did in this game. If you want to emulate Citron01 and get a third mark of excellence, this is one of the tanks I would do it in, because it does have that capability, that 105mm gun, a fairly fast reload, lots of armor on the turret, go ridgeline, go hull down and take the enemy out. And yeah, you can get a fairly decent reload on this tank and do some serious damage to the enemy. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.